Well, if you thought the morning was exciting, trust me, the best is still to come. 2 sitting Prime Ministers, 1 former Prime Minister, and a lineup of cultural icons that's nothing short of legendary.
Speaking of cultural icons, our next guest practically defines the complete Indian man. I think I've given it away, but visionary, stylish, and a true business powerhouse.
From weddings to boardrooms, from birthdays to business deals, men have dressed in Raymond for generations, a brand that's woven into the very fabric of India.
And I still remember the theme of the ad. It hasn't changed for many years. I think all of us can resonate with it. So let's call upon stage the man himself, chairman of the Raymond Group, Mr. Gautam Singhania.
And joining him on stage, NDTV Profit's own complete man, the one and only Neeraj Shah.
Yes, indeed. 2 complete men on stage and a lot of complete women and men out there in the audience. Thank you so much, Mr. Singhania, for joining in.
Thank you very much for having me.
Audience and viewers, today we sit down with one of India's most fascinating business leaders. And the reason I say this and say that he's a complete man, because he's transformed a century-old textile legacy into a modern corporate empire. Gautam Singhania has just pulled off a transformative corporate restructuring, splitting a large conglomerate into 3 independent powerhouse businesses, and with more to come, I presume, if I'm not wrong. But he's far from your typical boardroom executive, because he's a man who races supercars at international circuits, founded India's supercar club, represents the country on the FIA World Motorsports Council, and owns one of Asia's most enviable automobile collections, from McLarens to Ferraris to Lamborghinis and more. Should we start with cars, Mr. Singhania?
Whatever you like. Thank you. That was a very kind introduction.
No, not at all. But I want to try and get your perspective on how do you combine what the opportunity that Raymond has as a group with the opportunity that India currently presents, and for you, presumably the world presents as well.
So as you know, Raymond is probably the only company in the world that sells for 3,000 times in price point. We go from 300 rupees a meter to 10 lakh rupees a meter under the same brand. And there's no brand in the world that can do this. Nokia had to do Vertu, Toyota did Lexus, Ritz did Four Seasons. And as a company, and we were talking earlier, you said we are in the luxury space. No, we're not. We're in the belly of the market. 99% of our business is in the belly of the market. So if you take lifestyle, this is the India. I mean, everybody grows up and gets married in a Raymond suit. And you're right, we turned 100 years old a month and 5 weeks ago. So we're probably one of the only consumer brands in India that have survived 100 years. So we're very proud of that, and we're proud of that because the Indian consumer has a lot of trust and belief in Raymond. If you take real estate, you were talking about real estate being luxury. For us, we operate in the affordable luxury segment. And I always say, whether you take lifestyle, fashion, clothing, whilst you say you're in the fashion business, Armani and us are in 2 different businesses, whilst we both make clothes. Loda and us are in 2 different businesses in the real estate space. They're in a completely different market with them and Oberoi, and we are in a completely different business. Whilst we're both into real estate, we're both in 2 totally different businesses. And when you start looking at it like that, you get different answers.
Yeah. So, okay, tell us about this opportunity, therefore, that comes in, because there's a clear pivot, or if not a pivot, a push towards consumption in addition to the capex push that India has had. I'm loosely bucketing into 2, right? Where does Raymond see opportunity both on the India scale and the global scale, particularly as India stamps its dominance on the world stage?
So firstly, let me flag it. Let me say more than 90% of our business is now going to be in India. And as the middle class grows, as the aspiration of the middle class grows, whether it's in the fabric space or whether it's in everybody wants a home. I mean, a 2 to 3 crore rupee home in Bombay is affordable luxury. Everybody wants that. If you take the global space, today there's a gravitas to wanting to manufacture in India. With the Make in India, which Modi ji has done, he's taking momentum. You see the Google announcement in Vizag. Today there was another big announcement. You're slowly going to see that happening. Now, the engineering company that we bought, there's a huge interest in aerospace and defense wanting to invest in India. I mean, I think we've got more than our hands full. of the opportunities. Now it's really a question of how you can convert that opportunity into reality. Will it happen? The answer is yes. How long will it take? It's anybody's guess. So I'm very, very bullish on the international opportunity towards India. You've got the disruptive things like Trump, which is very controversial. I don't want to comment on that because that's a whole day's discussion, but as consciously as a company, we have taken the decision that we don't want to operate in the US. And if, I'm sorry I'm making a very controversial statement, but if companies like us start feeling that this is causing too much uncertainty and disruption, and we don't want to deal with that uncertainty, I'm sure there are hundreds of companies in the world that are thinking, and then we've got to understand what's the long-term fallout of that.
Interesting. But from what you said, if you've taken this conscious decision of 90% business in India, you believe that for all the facets of your business, which is textiles and lifestyle to real estate, to the engineering, aerospace, defense business, all of them give you enough opportunity to grow at the pace that you want the group to grow.
Well, real estate grew at 46% last year. Where in the world will you see a 46% growth? Okay, I'll bet we grew it from a lower base, but we still grew 46%. Lifestyle is growing today. You've got the legacy business of the fabrics. You've got, now, do I want to go up and set up 10 shops in the UK? I don't want to do it because it's going to divert management attention. It may look, sexy to be in the UK and US, but it's not going to pay you. We've got so many new verticals, whether it's ethnic wear, sleepwear, innerwear, and each one can become large.
Do you sense, what is different about the opportunity that India presents right now in this decade versus what you may have seen over the last 20, 25 years?
I think it's the emergence of the middle class. You know, there's an aspiration. Every middle class individual has an aspiration to want more. And when goods and services are available, so let's take real estate. You know, when there were no good quality affordable housing in the market, there was no demand. But suddenly when you put the product in there, we've sold over 5,000 apartments today in 5 years. And this is only exponentially growing. We started with our legacy land. Today we've got 7 JDAs. A lot of you are from Delhi, but I don't think you understand. In Bombay, in my opinion, and I could be wrong by a couple of hundred million or billion, but it's a $2 trillion opportunity. Just Bombay for real estate development. Look at the amount of money they're putting into infrastructure, with the coastal road, airport, metros, Atal Setu, and now a lot more. So there is huge opportunity. It's just you got to grab it.
And you are, of course, grabbing it by being present in the textile business that you've been for all your life. And by the way, I don't know how many in the audience remember the Raymond ads, but they used to be my favorite ads. Silent ads, a small piano playing in the background, but they were just refreshing to see because they were not noise, they were just class. And I believe that embodies the products that you gave. But just coming in on that, Mr. Singhania, what opportunities do you see in non-real estate? Because the lesser known part of your business is this whole engineering, defense part of your business. And here you are telling me that while that is a global business, you want to do 90% of that in India.
No, so I'll only say in the engineering business, we're in 3 parts. One is engineering files, which is our legacy business, auto components, and aerospace and defense. Auto components, we're significantly focused outbound, but again, reduction in America. We want to reduce in America, look more at Europe. We'll still get the same customers. Aerospace, defense, whilst there's an outward opportunity, there's also an opportunity within the Indian government. And if you can bring new technologies, forward-thinking products, and we're working on a host of products that, you know, I couldn't even spell 1 year ago, but I mean, I was sitting with a company yesterday talking about unmanned overwater drones, underwater drones. There's so much stuff going on. You know, the other way of looking at it is the Russia-Ukraine war has thrown up opportunities of new technology, which is coming. So, of course, the domestic market is going to be a big opportunity as well.
And when you talk to a lot of these global companies, whether in your traditional businesses or the new businesses, is there a desire to do business in India in a big way? I know there is this bit of a tariff unresolved issue between India and the US, but are companies really wanting to...
I think it's more than you and me can even dream of.
Sorry, come again?
It's more than you and me can ever dream of. the amount I'm seeing global companies wanting to come and participate in India on the manufacturing side, and I don't know if you saw, we signed an agreement with the Andhra government, with Naiduji to do large-scale manufacturing there. I think literally on a weekly basis, we're getting a call for manufacturing in India. And that's something it's unheard of.
Very interesting. Okay, from business to the other things, right? And I couldn't let you go without talking about cars. I'm sure a lot of car enthusiasts out here. And, you know, everybody's trying to figure out what is it that we look for in the next car, the features, etc. Now, you have the finest cars that anybody can think of having. When you are looking out to go and buying your next car, what is it that you look out for in the car?
It really depends on what I'm looking for. I mean, am I looking for a vintage? Am I looking for a classic? Am I looking for something that I don't have? In the vintage world, there's so many cars that are there. I genuinely believe, I've also got a restoration shop. We're the best restoration shop in the world today. We can restore a car fastest in the world. We're bringing history back to life. I mean, so let's talk vintages. We'll come to supercar. And that is a finite supply. Now, let's not look 1 or 2 years from today, but let's look, say, 50 years from today. I've got many brands that are lost in history. And they're only going to, there's a preservation of history that goes on there. If you take today, I've got a 1903 miniature Velox, only one surviving in the world. You can start it on the first shot, it works. There's a passion with it. I've got a 21501 Corsa Fiat, original from 1921, with the original seats. Now you think the passion that's associated, it's got the stickers of all the milli-millias that it's done. Now, that's a different world. When you look at supercars, it really depends what's out there. There are very few brands that make great supercars today. But I don't think they're launching models that fast. I genuinely believe that the supply chain for supercars is broken. Today, they commit you a car that's coming out and it takes years before it's coming. It's not months, it's years. Say the top marks have launched a car, you get the delivery 2 or 3 years after they have launched it. So the market is very, very different and changing.
What time do you drive these cars, by the way, in Mumbai? It's chock-a-block right outside your house. So what
Well,
time do
actually,
you go out and drive
fortunately,
these?
within 400 meters, I can hit the coastal road and be on that. So driving in Bombay has actually become a fantastic pleasure. But ideally, I drive at about 7 in the morning or on the weekend or late at night.
Okay.
That's when you can enjoy the cars.
Do you like an electric vehicle? A lot of people...
I don't think about them.
You don't think about that. You like internal combustion engine. The vroom of the car should come.
I think EV has been politically hyped. Today, EV production must be about 3% of IC. I think that 3 million EVs being made in the world against 100 million ICs, something like that. So, yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's a toy. I had a battery-operated car when I was 4 years old. So why are we talking about EV today? My little go-kart was EV.
Okay, that's an interesting comparison.
Go. Go.
Tell us a bit about the Supercar Club, because I mean, also I might be mixing an apple and an orange here, but I remember back in my college days, F1 was really big. I don't know if it's still as big, and cars are not as big a deal as in racing cars, motorsport. Maybe I'm wrong, but at least in my circle, it is not as big a deal as it used to be in the past. Am I correct? No.
No, so you're talking about the Supercar Club. The Supercar Club was formed in 2008. I used to find when I used to take my car out, everybody used to like to look. And I genuinely believe that, exposure creates demand, exposure creates motivation to buy. And that's how the Supercar Club was formed. It was a group of people who enjoyed cars, who talked cars. It's like any special interest group. And I think over the last 17, 18 years, it's grown into a very large club. We had our last event this year, and I was shocked. I mean, we had 250,000 people that came to the show. We had 69,000 reposts on Instagram. And I think we got something like 500-600 million views on the event. But every kid was there because it was open to the public. Every kid was there with his camera. And I can guarantee you every kid there was saying that when I grow up, I want to buy a Ferrari. I want to buy a Lamborghini. I want to buy an Aston. And that exposure creates motivation. You know, I saw my first Lamborghini when I was 9 years old, and I still remember where I saw it. And I said, one day when I grow up and make my money, I'm going to buy a Lamborghini. And these things become very, very motivational. I mean, it was really funny, I shouldn't say that, but we had the chief minister, and I bought a rickshaw there for him, and chief minister was driving the rickshaw. And it was really nice to see the chief minister drive the rickshaw. Not Mr. Fadnavis, deputy chief minister, I'm talking about Mr. Shinde. So cars bring people back to their roots and what they like. So it's great fun to get the like-minded people out there together.
Yeah, most certainly. But I still have the part two of my question, which is that I'm guessing you're a car enthusiast. You must be a motorsport enthusiast.
I am.
Do you think India's scaling up on the motorsport world scale is kind of coming off a bit, or do you think there is room to go?
The problem is, if you want to be on the global scale for motorsport, you should have a country that's got an ecosystem for the sport. For example, India's got an ecosystem for cricket. We play cricket in the gullies, it's part of lifestyle. Motorsport is not practiced here. Today, we probably got 5 license holders from India. UK's got 70,000 license holders. So the whole grassroots system, if you take Naren Karthikeyan, Jehan Darwala, Kushmani, all have had to go to live in the UK ecosystem to develop. My daughter is an equestrian rider. She lives in Belgium because the ecosystem for riding is there. The ecosystem is not here. So you have to be part of that ecosystem to survive. It's not that I can go racing every weekend in this country. I can go racing every weekend in the UK, whether it's the UK, whether it's the continent, wherever it is.
Well noted, Mr. Singhania. But on that note, we hope that the new Samvat ushers in a lot more for a lot of businesses you are doing, for the country and maybe for motorsport as well. But thank you so much for joining in on this August gathering and sharing your views. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
A round of applause for Mr. Gautam Singhania of the Raymond Group.